Don't know what exactly is going on, but there is a giant plume of smoke over Washington, D.C. happening right now, and it is billowing in multiple directions. You can kind of smell it. The Capitol building is there. Washington Monument is there. People are playing on the National Mall like it is nothing. But there's a giant plume of smoke that actually was a little bit. I'm not totally sure what exactly is going on. Walk in the direction of it and see what is happening here. It's a very dark, billowy smoke, though, and it may not look like much because the building's in the way. I stepped outside earlier. That was like, holy crap! Is this another 9/11 that's happening? And I guess we'll find out. I don't think it's 9/11. I think people would be freaking out a little more if it was, but it's definitely something here in Southwest DC. So it does look like it is diffused a bit. I wonder if they, whatever it was, I wonder if they managed to put it out. It's down in the L'Enfant Plaza area of the city, which is kind of a government enclave. There's not a lot of people that live down there. It is a pretty dreary area of the city, actually, and it continues to pollute the sky above us. Welcome to Land Speculation Live on YouTube. Trying to stay out in front of big stuff that's happening in Washington, D.C. And I don't know if this is a big thing or maybe it's just a small thing, and we'll figure out that it was nothing. But anyway, welcome to Land Speculation on YouTube, and if you wouldn't mind dropping a like and subscribe on the video, I appreciate that. The likes help us out with YouTube. Subscribe so you guys know when we're on. Check our description for the links to our Discord and our Duck Fund. Man, there has been a ramping up of loud vehicles in Washington, D.C. of late. So I was getting a little bit of intel that maybe it was a bus fire and or an apartment fire, like an apartment building caught on fire. So I don't know which of those is true or not. You can see obviously a lot of sirens off in the distance, and I've been noticing that kind of all over the place. There's an ambulance, and then a whole bunch of cars over here, but the dark smoke is still thick up in the sky, and fire trucks coming down the street here. If anybody's hurt amid all this, I guess the best thing that it could be was probably how's a bus fire start? I guess that could be pretty volatile and dangerous.
Independence Avenue, walk sign is on.
But it definitely is diffusing in terms of smoke now. I don't know if that's just the wind, or if that's because they have successfully managed to put the thing out. But otherwise, it's like sunset time here in Washington. And there's a lot of traffic, a lot of street noise. People walking up and down the streets. I feel like I'm the only person that's heading this direction, though. I'm trying to get to a spot where I can be around all these trees and buildings, actually see a glimmer of what happened, or what is happening. Yeah, you can see it peeking out from around this building here. Very dark, thick smoke. There it comes, a big billowing, thick plume of smoke. Oh God, that smells like burning tires. Holy crap. What on earth is going on here? It smells awful. Goodness gracious, that is a terrible smell. No, it is not the FBI building. It is, you guys can see it here. I don't know what, I don't know what. There is a power plant over this direction. It smells like something that I probably shouldn't be breathing. It smells just awful. It smells like you're burning like tires and plastics, and you can see it's kind of made this whole area like darker. I don't know if we're gonna be able to make it much further. I don't know what building this even is, or which building it's actually coming from. Sock over your nose. I don't know, that might help. I don't even come over here very often because I don't know what these buildings are, because this is definitely not across the street here. Get a glimpse out from behind the trees here. This is definitely, holy crap. What on earth? What on earth is going on here? Looks like something maybe on the underpass. Is this a, oh God. Oh God, the smell is completely noxious. Good Lord. There's fire people running. You can see it billowing up into the sky here. I don't know if they're going to want us getting any closer, but there's something happening underneath this. There's like an underpass here. The Smithsonian Museum, the core Smithsonian buildings are over there. But man, there's, oh God. It's like, you ever at a barbecue, like an outdoor grilling event, and you breathe like right into the grill? Oh God. This smells horrendous right now. The underpass is for cars. It is a, I hate the underpass, although there is a train going by here right now as well. Overpass. Fire engine right here. I think part of the issue is they're having a tough time accessing it. Goodness gracious. It's like very actively moving smoke. So this is the same underpass. I don't know if you guys remember years ago back in 2020 when protesters went and marched down the highway in protest of George Floyd and like shut down the highway. This is the same underpass that cuts underneath the National Mall. So you get on the highway basically north of the National Mall, and then you go under the National Mall and you pop out eventually kind of south of the mall. You see the firefighters and the police officers literally tearing down branches here in real time, trying to deal with this. Look at that smoke just billowing. It is just, it's coming up so fast right now. I have no doubt there are all kinds of carcinogens happening here. hope I don't die from this. These poor firefighters. Is it a bus? As you're watching Land Speculation here on YouTube, I appreciate it if you are. There are people gathering all around. If you wouldn't mind dropping a like and a subscribe on the video here. We're breathing in a lot of noxious smoke for everyone's education and entertainment here. So if you wouldn't mind dropping a like on the video, that would be really helpful to us. Make sure to subscribe to our channel if you're not already. We report on a lot of live things here in Washington. And certainly what I expect, like I said, it looked like a bus on fire, which would be my guess.
Stick your arm through the fence.
So this is I-395. Oh God. It's the ramp to I-395, basically. I just hope like nothing is gonna like explode here or something. You know, it's always a little concerning when you see firefighters and police officers freaking out. It's another fire truck. Oh, okay, so they're getting the hose wheeled out here. Like, I think they're just trying to figure out how to access the damn thing. Bus on fire. That's what it sounds like. Is it like a city bus? If anybody knows from any other reporting that's out there, let me know here in the chat. We're just trying to bring it to you live. And it definitely is. I don't know how they're going to do this though, because like those fire hoses aren't built to like turn. So it's not particularly productive of a kind of hose that they're able to, you know, spray this way. It's still billowing. Another fire truck is showing up here. The smell seems to have, I wonder if they like burned through the tires or something. The smoke coming up now is a little bit like lighter in color than it was a minute or two ago. This looks like maybe somebody got a hose down there. They're not using this hose. More. Okay, another fire department vehicle pulling up to the overpass, like over an underpass. The underpass connects people from basically the National Mall to I-395. There's some foam to deal with it. Interesting. Thanks, guys, for the updates here in the chat. Yeah, if they don't have better control of the scene, it was a little weirded out that there's people just kind of wandering around here with the hose and everything. Yeah, it's a little strange, but I think they're preoccupied with what they're trying to do. Look at that. Oh my God. Guys, appreciate the updates here. Jim, Quiet, Doug. Oh God, I got there's only so much of this smell I can take up close before I gotta step away for a minute or two. Okay, bus fire, 9th Street Tunnel. Yeah, well that would make sense here based on the location. We're down here in the L'Enfant Plaza area where the smoke continues to billow. Request foam unit task force, additional truck, and rescue squad working to establish a water supply. That's not good. It's like they can't even find the water supply yet. Tunnel will be closing as personnel work to snuff out the fire and rescue any passengers maybe on board. I hope there were passengers on board. That would be quite horrific, tragic. I'm sure if it smells like this up here, I can't even imagine what it's like if you were caught in that fire. I'm curious how the whole thing even happened. Residents should avoid the area. Yeah, well, no kidding. Smoke just got a lot more intense. Okay, so this hose is now on. This hose was not on a minute or two ago. They're gonna bring another hose through. don't know. It looks like they maybe turned the hose on to like a trickle. Everyone seems to be kind of backing away. They're telling everybody to get further back. Don't get close. This is definitely ad hoc right now, but these are people reacting in real time to a very complicated and difficult situation. Firefighters got to be focused on the fire. They're not focused on crowd control. Dogs out here. Yeah, that could be. I don't know what's burning. It has come and gone from like very black smoke to right now it looks like a combination of black and other colors of smoke. Of course, it's sunset right now in DC, so it's like a. So it's like a sort of weird golden sunset smoke. Amtrak trains continue to operate here, adjacent to the fire. I can't even imagine what I'm breathing in right now. That is probably really horrible for me. That's what he said. He said, I'll give you asthma to help him out. Hey. There you go. This is not under the Capitol. This is the bus looks like it's under an overpass between a couple of federal buildings here in the L'Enfant Plaza area, south of the National Mall. No, this is not under the Capitol. We're a little bit of a ways from the Capitol. The Smithsonian is right there.
Gracias por conectarse con nosotros. A esta hora estamos en vivo desde la calle 9 en Washington, D.C., donde se registró un incendio de un bus justamente en este lugar. Es donde...
Why don't the firemen have masks on? I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them just sitting down on the roadway as well, down where the bus is. I don't know why they're sitting there. It didn't look to me like they had gas masks on. I think everybody's just been trying to figure out what this even is and how to deal with it because it's in a very difficult spot. I would imagine if you're a firefighter, you deal with having to get to things in difficult locations a lot, but it's a really hard spot because it's trapped under an overpass that itself is like down in a tunnel. It's like an on-ramp tunnel to I-395 that basically runs under the National Mall. And it has, these sort of windows where you have, like, if you open top to the underpass. I don't know how deep under this tunnel the bus is, or if there's, like, even worse smoke further down the tunnel. Again, we're hoping like nobody was on this bus, or whoever was on the bus got out very quickly. We don't know anything about how this started. So Jeanette wants me to get on other people's channels here. Well, I don't know what happened to him. Good thought. So you guys are watching land speculation here on YouTube as we report live on, I don't know, I had some other things planned here to do here at sunset in DC is usually very beautiful. I guess the dogs here are the canaries in the coal mine. I don't know how toxic this actually is. But I walked outside and like this was happening, and you could see it across the city. It looked horrific. It looked like the plumes of smoke after 9/11, and it's very smoky and dark, and I guess they have some water flowing down there at this point. Because it looks like the plume has moved a little bit. You can see the giant plume overhead here, still mixing with the beautiful pale yellows and oranges of the sunset over Virginia over there. But it looks like there's probably some pressure on the smoke coming from the right side. Hopewell is evacuated, yeah, for sure, Ojnak. So yeah, we are live here on Land Speculation on YouTube. If you have not dropped a like and a subscribe on the video, I really appreciate that. Make sure to get subscribed here. We cover a lot of live things, and of course we're independent media, so we cover a lot of things that don't make their way onto regular media, like the FBI explosions a few years ago and other just stuff that happens here. In addition to the deep dives into a lot of other topics. Trying to make sense of the world. So if you are here, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the video. Check our description. We have a Discord if you want to join our Discord. We also have a we call our Duck Fund if you want to help support the stream. It's a Buy Me a Coffee link. We also do super chats here on the streams, and we also have the link to our sister channel, Land Ducks International, there in the description as well. As we continue to track this fire, they have multiple hoses here. Firefighters up here, firefighters down below, as they continue to try to wrangle this fire that has burned for quite a while. So we are led to believe it is a bus fire happening down in the tunnel, the 9th Street tunnel here, which is basically functions as an on-ramp, more or less, to I-395 from the core of downtown Washington, D.C. And the smoke continues to billow, although it feels like maybe it's a little bit less than it was, but it looks like it's moving in such a way, and it's a little bit lighter now than it was, that either something different is burning, or maybe they finally got some water to it, so they're able to at least move the smoke. But there's still a fair bit of like just dark, ashy, noxious, like awful smelling. Bus, thanks, love. Appreciate people giving me the updates here in the chat. Bus well involved, working to establish fire attack strategy, confirm evacuation of all vehicles in tunnel. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously the most important thing, is we hope whoever was on that bus has been able to get off of that bus, and that there is nobody trapped or nobody who has succumbed to this thing. And I mean, a little concerning that there's, it sounds like maybe the real time is a little bit ahead of the updates that are being published, but a little bit concerning that this deep into this, they're still trying to figure out exactly how to deal with it. Who would leave a scooter right here, of all places, by the train tracks? Yeah, guys, I don't know how long we'll stick it out here this close to these fumes. Now it looks like maybe they're getting a little bit of a handle on this thing. back up a little bit to get the bigger picture. I mean, I guess it's mostly blowing this direction, so yeah, it's a question of how did this thing start and how did it get so out of control to the point where I would guess that somebody abandoned the bus or something. I mean, it's basically a highway. It's highway speeds certainly on the underpass area where this happened. Like, you would think if you foresaw something, you would pull over in a space that is not like this. I mean, you're basically on a highway that's running underground. There's no real shoulder. There's no real place to walk away from traffic. You'd think if they had advance notice, they would have pulled off like when they were still on the street. So whatever it is, it seems like it must have happened very quickly. Right in the midst of the back part of rush hour in downtown Washington, D.C. And the Amtrak trains continue to rumble by here. Man, it's a slow-moving Amtrak train. Regional Amtrak making its way, presumably to Union Station. I guess you would think that if this was really that bad, they would find a way to communicate with the train companies and tell the trains not to come through. But, again, it's a lot of people reacting in real time here. You see a lot of people kind of being looky-loos in real time as well. And a lot of firefighters who clearly, didn't have the time or interest to be involved in crowd control. The crowd has moved back a little bit, and people are not clustered quite where they were a few minutes ago. More firefighters, it looks like they've moved to the other side here. Bus driver was not injured. No one else was riding the bus when the fire started. So how did the fire start? Here's the question. It is a disconcerting feeling, when you're in a big city like DC or New York, to see giant plumes of smoke over the federal core of well, it's the federal core would only apply to DC. Man, I guess that's a cloud, but it's a pretty ominous looking scene still. A lot of smoke still billowing here. It is definitely not. Oh God. And every once in a while, snow creeps back when the wind changes direction. It's a disconcerting situation, when you look up and you see horrifying black plumes of smoke. And, anybody who, again, lived through 9/11, not to, remotely compare this and that, but, you remember what those plumes of smoke looked like rising over New York City. I can remember on election day in 2016, driving on Constitution Avenue, looking over at the White House and seeing a giant plume of smoke rising from what looked like the White House that day. And I guess there was some building a few blocks behind the White House that had caught fire. But it was a very disconcerting feeling. I remember in the moment that something had happened, at the White House. Are there other vehicles under there? I don't know. I mean, again, it's such a weird spot that somebody would have parked a bus or evacuated a bus. I just think this is not at all where you would normally think people would do that. If you had any advance notice at all, you would try to find a place that wasn't, under an overpass. You would try to find a place that wasn't in the middle of a stretch of highway. Just from the sheer standpoint of evacuating the vehicle. There's no real good place to walk if you, drop a bus where they dropped it. It's also a high-speed road, to just be stopping in the middle of this high-speed road is a pretty crazy thing. So I don't know what the story is here. You know, people are reporting, I guess, here in the chat, and that's the best reporting I have is what people are dropping here in the chat, which I appreciate, Jim Monk. That the bus driver was in the bus alone when it happened. Cannot corroborate that one way or the other. So I will say allegedly to that. You know, again, we hope nobody else is on the bus. We hope nobody else was injured. Obviously, anytime this kind of thing happens, there's obviously a lot of conflicting information that comes out as it happens. Religionax says mechanical failure according to the Office of Transport Safety Investigations, OTSI. Failed oil supply pipes to the turbocharger are a common issue. So obviously I have no idea whether that is true. I don't even really know what that means. Awakened One, we're in Washington, D.C. Obviously, this is the 9th Street Tunnel here in the L'Enfant Plaza area of Washington, D.C. Generally an area just comprised of kind of not the greatest office buildings. And this patch of grass where we are is, you know, as you can see, is like not the prettiest public space. And, okay, looks like another fire truck is showing up. Yet another one. Lots of fire trucks here. Because the smoke is still billowing, that's the crazy part, that, like, it's still really smoky. So we got this fire engine, we've got a fire vehicle over there, another fire truck behind that, and again, the people have continued to move back. When this was first raging a few minutes ago, we're up really close to that edge. They subsequently brought out 2 different hoses, and the bus, I guess, is underneath this overpass. Can't really see where the bus exactly is. I think even when we were able to peer over and get a glimpse down the road, the smoke was so thick that I wasn't able to really get a handle on where exactly the bus was within the roadway or what condition it was in. And, you know, but you can tell from where the firefighters are looking that, you know, they're looking under that overpass. It seems where a lot of the vehicles are clustered. I presume there are other fire trucks that tried to access it down the, you know, from the roadway underneath. When we were peering over a few minutes ago, there were dozens of firefighters gathered down on the roadway, which was a little weird because the smoke was extremely thick and noxious, and they did not appear to be wearing gas masks. But the smoke continues to billow up here into the sky. It has changed color. We're seeing maybe a little bit more of the actual sky now than we were. But still big plumes of smoke, still rapidly moving smoke. It's become a little bit grayer and whiter since we came out here. And this did not look like a brand new fresh fire when we came out here. I mean, this looked like this had been raging for a while, and we've been going basically 40 minutes here. And it's taken them clearly a while to figure out how to deal with this. Obviously, they were requesting foam units. They've been trying to attack it, I guess, from multiple sides and angles. Again, it's just a really hard spot. Are they trying to move us back again? Oh, they're putting up caution tape. I think they're trying to get us out of this park, which is probably with good reason. What exactly they expect to have happen now, but clearly they don't want us being where we were. Which I'm in a way grateful for, because it smells a lot less bad over here. The smell of this has been extraordinarily noxious. It must be frustrating if you're a firefighter to have the constant looky-loos around what you're doing. It's the least of your concerns when you're trying to put out a fire in a complex location like this, a complex vehicle. Obviously, a bus has a lot of different parts, a lot of different toxic parts. You know, I don't know what you may want to be spraying or not spraying on the different stuff to put the stuff out effectively, but you got, you know, clearly you could smell rubber burning earlier. You know, batteries, oil, you know, plastic and metals. And goodness gracious, I don't know. I'm in a way curious, in a way not curious to see what the bus looks like after this all shakes out. You know, the full story of exactly how this happened. Update, Jim says, fully involved bus, 9th Street Tunnel, attacked fire with foam unit. Okay, water supply has been established. No initial report of injuries. Civilians and vehicles that were in the tunnel have been evacuated. Okay, well, so that sounds like, you know, at least the important parts of this. Good outcomes, as in no loss of life. Hope that turns out to be accurate. Again, sort of mysterious thing, like how did this happen? So we are again in Washington, D.C. here on Land Speculation on YouTube Live. Appreciate you guys joining us. If you wouldn't mind dropping a like and a subscribe on the video if you have not already, that very much helps us out. Of course, the subscribes help you guys out, because then you can find us live when we report on other things that are going on in Washington, D.C. And then check our description that has a link to our Discord, which you are free to join if you want to. The Duck Fund, which is our Buy Me a Coffee link if you want to support the stream. I appreciate contributions there. And then the link to our sister channel, Land Ducks International, where we put lots of other live or raw footage from around the world. The crowd has really thinned out very suddenly, and I'm not quite sure what happened. So everybody has disappeared. Did we miss a memo? But we are here in the Wampum Plaza here in Washington, D.C., surrounded by government office buildings all around us. Which ones are which? Your guess is as good as mine. Because this is not usually a very like pleasant area of Washington, especially at night. Not that it's like an unsafe area per se. It's just all offices, and it's not a particularly like inviting area. There's a lot of construction, and there's nobody really lives here. Hasn't really renovated in a long time. So smoke continues to billow up into the sky. Let's see if I can go around the block. That gets us any better angles on anything. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to do here. You can still see the smoke billowing out of the tunnel, though. There's clearly still you know, stuff happening. The sky looks a lot cleaner than it did. So clearly they've made progress. Every once in a while, the wind changes direction. You get a whiff of that noxious, toxic smoke. So, okay, we're gonna see what we can do. You know, they're clearly starting to get the situation under control and block off the area at the same time, which, oh, there goes a white squirrel. White squirrel. At the very least, going around the block will allow us to, oh God, I know, it's like random. Because there's just like tufts of smoke in different places. But going around the block, I'm hoping will take us out of the direct line of smokage, which hopefully will smell better. So we're going to try to go like around 3/4 of this block. So if you're not seeing anything exciting right now, just give us a second. You know, we missed out on this is like the time of year you start getting some really, really nice sunsets in DC, which was my intent coming out to show you guys the sunset, which is always beautiful over the Lincoln Memorial and the skyline of Rosslyn, Virginia, and the Washington Monument, and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, when news breaks, and we run to the action because We are frontline independent news reporters here on Land Speculation on YouTube. Okay, lots and lots of, oh, I don't know if we're now, let's see how close they'll let us get from this angle. Lots of flashing lights down here. You can see how pretty the sunset still is, though, up in the distance. Reflected against the buildings, it's particularly nice. The moon is up there as well. Get a glimpse of the Hirshhorn Museum, Independence Avenue. Yes, more important to cover the action when it's happening. You know, like, cities are complicated. I think you, like, make the office buildings and stuff secure, and the Capitol and the White House secure, and then all of a sudden there's a bus fire. Who would have thought that? The Smithsonian Castle is basically right through here. This is kind of where this happened, so just to see. This is another glimpse of the over underpass thing. You see a lot of vehicles going down to the 9th Street tunnel here, and you can see some more of the smoke from this angle. I'm trying to zoom back out. Flashing lights. And this is the tunnel. See these cars going down the tunnel. I presume they had the most success attacking the fire from this direction because smoke is billowing out, you know, away from us now. Let's see some more of these flashing lights up ahead of us. Yeah, I just hope the sun doesn't catch fire as well. There's an ambulance over here. Lots and lots of emergency vehicles. If DC has anything in abundance, it's emergency vehicles. Those are the same fire trucks we saw from around the block before. And it is underneath this park, basically, where, well, not underneath the park, it's underneath the roadway that sits adjacent to the park here. But this is all going down. No. They said the bus exploded. I don't know that we're going to be able to get any particular closer See the fire trucks and the hoses, though. Still a fair bit of smoke billowing, but not nearly like it was before. I mean, the sky is so much clearer now than it was 20 minutes ago. But you can see the firefighters and the police officers and everything still very much clustered. Nobody seems to be moving at all. I guess, in DC, you also never know what other kind of security concerns something like this may entail. Something catches on fire, you never quite know why. I was worried about, other kinds of explosives and things like that. They're still letting the traffic go by here on Independence Avenue, which is an important rush hour arterial out of the city. I don't know if you can smell the rain coming. Windows all open. Hopefully nice weather holds for a few weeks. I bet some rain would be helpful here right now in this situation. You can see there's like water on the side of the street here. It doesn't rain, which tells me that this is probably here because of when they were trying to set up the hoses and get the fire hydrants up and running. No, it's very much in the tunnel, Vojnak. Clearly whatever was happening was in the tunnel underneath us. Basically, the road kind of dips down into the tunnel. The tunnel only exists underneath the cross street up there where you see the ambulance is driving across. It's such a weird place for a bus to have parked if they were having an issue, unless it just arose so suddenly that was the only thing they could do. Let's see, a vehicle exiting this tunnel, a couple of vehicles exiting this tunnel, just like regular cars. Was it a wreck? Yeah, well, that's very much a possibility. It's certainly a tight space. That's very much what could have happened. The bus crashed and then something caught fire. Maybe the most likely outcome, actually, the most likely cause. DC does have a lot of very weird underpasses. It's true, Jack. Part of that's because they want to be able to move highways and stuff under the National Mall. Now the smell came back. What the hell? Smithsonian, a sunset, and a bunch of flashing police lights. Very DC experience here right now. This is the U.S. Department of Transportation here. Maybe it was electric. They tend to burst into fire. Appreciate you guys joining us and hanging out with us here amid this weird thing that has happened here tonight in Washington, D.C. It's a warm evening. Feels warm and, let's see, Humidity 40%. I was gonna say it feels dry by DC standards, but maybe 40% is dry by DC standards. DC is a very humid place usually. Goodness gracious, the smell is still. It just, if the wind blows a particular direction, the smell still is just, boy. It's the Washington Monument. Goodness gracious. Okay, I want to get away from this smell. This cannot be good. We've been out here for basically an hour amid this smell. Well, is it more likely to give me short-term ill effects or long-term ill effects based on, like, is this or both? I don't know. To wash your clothes 5 times. That's, yeah, actually that's a good point. Once I'm away from this smell, I'll find out how bad I smell. See, now I'm the source of the noxious flames. I don't know what like we're kind of like shielded by this building here, and yet still it smells awful, like right here. Tanayak, thank you for the well wishes there. Headache guaranteed. Did it give me a good buzz? No, I would say this is not a good buzz at all. Describe the smell. If you took like a heap of tires and then you, so I remember, like, I know what the smell of burning benzene or what benzene in the air smells like. It's a little bit like sweet. It's like you took a big heap of tires and then you added a whole bunch of like the most plastics that you could, and then you put on like a whole bunch of like the like sort of that, like, you ever like open like you get like a new TV and there's like styrofoam on it, but the styrofoam has like a smell to it. There's like some of that in there, and then you like took like a lithium battery, and you just, oh god, you ignited the whole thing. I don't know what the hell's happening. Like, it's getting worse. The smell is getting worse. That's why everybody's walking away. Water on it, the water distributing it across the air. But like, yeah, I'm gonna like get away from here. Worse than it was. Wow. Yeah, we're talking like they burned a bus. Like, imagine you just like light a bus on fire. That's kind of what it smelled like. And which way is south? Well, we were south. Now we're walking north. The smoke was billowing to the south previously, and then also, I guess, to the east. And now we're north, so I don't know. It shouldn't. We're definitely walking away from where the smoke was blowing. So I don't know why it would have gotten suddenly worse. Sounds like a car fire. So it was a bus fire. I don't know if it was an electric bus. Are the DC buses all electric? It smelled like we're like burning a subway car. If it's electric, that would explain why it's still burning. Yeah, that could be. You know, maybe they got parts of it out and now they're trying to get the rest of it out. Yeah, man. And all of this amid this like beautiful, beautiful sunset, you know, happening in Washington D.C. at the same time. New car smell is great, but like new car smell on fire, not as great. And then, yeah, probably electric buses would be my guess. The wind switched to be from the south, so it was suddenly blowing north. Maybe. It is weird, like I'm now on the National Mall, I'm like a ways away from it. The Capitol building is down there, and then look at this sunset over the Washington Monument down here. This smells like burning tires. I'm sure there are people down here right now that don't understand why it smells like burning tires down here, but it certainly does smell like burning tires down here right now. So, see the Lincoln Memorial down there, Washington Monument rising up pointily into the sky. There's a plane flying just over the top of the Washington Monument. Does DC have higher? I actually have no idea what kind of buses DC has, but I'm sure whatever the most progressive kind of bus there that exists, that's what DC has. Nightbot, that's like a horrible joke. Like something where heat was involved. I'm just gonna like put my senses together, my Sherlock Holmes senses here, and assume that there was some heat involved in the fire. Lithium batteries go critical in a crash. I'm not sure the temps says primitive, but I know it's way hotter than gasoline or diesel fuel. Or diesel fires. Tires and all that plastic is poison. Yeah, sending poison into the atmosphere. If a request won't get us arrested, we will generally try to do it. So, if you guys have particular requests, if you guys want us to do particular kinds of videos, or we're perfectly happy to make everyone as happy as we can make them. Again, you're watching Land Speculation here on YouTube as we now breathe in noxious fumes and watch fire trucks drive down the street, and hope nothing further explodes as we watch the sunset here over the Washington Monument, which is very beautiful. But it's also extremely noxious. You guys get the benefit of the view. You don't have to breathe in these horrible noxious fumes that I'm breathing in right now. If you want us to breathe in noxious fumes for your entertainment, please do drop a like on the video and a subscribe on the channel. That'll tell us to get out there and do more of this kind of thing. We report on a lot of live and hopefully interesting things here in Washington, D.C., and also provide commentary on all kinds of other things going on in the world. So once you're subscribed, turn on your notification bell, and then check the description for the links to our Discord, which anybody can join, our Duck Fund, where you can help support the channel if you want. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can. And then our sister channel, Land Ducks International. Ryan, thanks for stopping by here. The round building there is the Hirshhorn Museum. It's a modern art museum that is currently under renovation. My whole thing is being finicky right now with the zoom. Anyway, that's the Hirshhorn. I'm trying to zoom out, but I can't. Okay, Jim Monk, thank you for the updates here. Fire extinguished other than hotspots, so they're still working on it. Man, like, that's a hell of a fire. Media staging is now at 9th and Constitution. South 9th and Constitution. So Constitution is on the north side of the National Mall, like way away. Now we can go see what that looks like here in a minute. The main public transit bus system operated by WMATA, featuring over 1,400 buses, standard models. They run on alternative fuels like compressed natural gas and diesel. So, who the hell knows what was in this bus? Super chats for smoke inhalation, yeah. Has Land ever explained why he's in DC? It's because I live here. It's just easier to stream from the city that I live in than other cities. Although we do stream from other cities from time to time. They put those lights on top of the Washington Monument after the giant gorilla climbed it in 1933. Giant gorillas don't like red lights. Yes, that's true. Yes, Land is a hybrid football and baseball coach. I do both at the same time, constantly traveling. I'm literally drafting players into the NFL as we speak right now. No, actually, I think it starts at 8. Okay, maybe not quite yet. Amazing outcomes. You missed the fire. Scroll back in the video if you want to see the fire. Although it is still, just noxious fumes here. I guess the sunset kind of looks like fire off in the distance. It sounds like mostly they've put out the fire now, but it was a raging. It was a big time rager there for a little bit. Thanks for stopping by here on our channel. I've been trying to get you guys like views of the fire and all that stuff. Quack, 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 quack. Yep. Being ducks. Ask Land where he lives in DC. I'll invite you to dinner. Yeah, if anybody wants to come to dinner with me in Washington, DC, feel free to reach out. Landspeculation@gmail.com is the email address. Been to many a dinner with Jack in Washington, D.C. We typically do Carmine's on Tuesdays. Monument can be seen from Wheaton, Maryland. Unless there's a big plume of smoke in the way, in which it can't. That someday will take me up on that. Fair enough. Carmine's is good. They do very big portions. It's really nice. Primitive says, don't forget to like. Thumbs up, folks. Yeah, that's I eat likes for breakfast. It is obnoxious to prowl for likes. You don't have to like us. Those ducks were headed west. Interesting. They're demigrating west. I was going to come out. I was going to do a video on the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, which Donald Trump went on a tirade about today. Donald Trump said that the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool is a piece of crap and needs to be rebuilt completely. DC needs that Trump arch to be 1,776 feet tall. That would be as tall as the New World Trade Center in New York City. Yeah, someday we'll do a scouting video to go see the site of the arch. Norman, you missed a whole bunch. Yeah, you missed a whole bunch here. A bus on fire under an underpass. That makes it sound way less exciting than it was. Primitive, yeah, well, we're trying to unplug a little bit here with the weather being nice as well. I called Saul, got a $5,000 check from Doge today. What are you gonna spend it on? You can pay a bureaucrat to sit there and do nothing for like a week. That check. Donald Trump actually did go today. He railed about the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. He like went on a tirade about how it's awful. So I was going to go check out his critiques of it. But more pressing matters took precedence here. As you can see the giant plume of smoke rising overhead. No, that's a cloud. If they made the reflecting pool a giant jacuzzi, I mean, I'm sure it would be disgusting, but that'd be kind of cool. Can you imagine just like thousands of tourists, just like world's largest outdoor jacuzzi? That would be a very American thing to do. People be like in there in their tennis shoes. Yeah, who's our winner here tonight? You're all winners, by the way. Quiet has selected himself as the winner. Aha. Congratulations to Quiet and Jeanette for being award-winning moderators here on Land Speculation on YouTube. We very much appreciate everything that Jeanette and Quiet do for us here on Land Speculation on YouTube, for sure. Peter, how's it going, Peter? Thanks for stopping by. It's been a minute. Jim Monk, not being American, I don't understand why people, or I can't understand why people get so upset when Donald Trump tries to improve DC and the White House. The bar of his building looks fantastic. A lot of things people critique Donald Trump for that are more of like a vessel for broader thoughts about Donald Trump. Primitive 5221. Wow, that was a lot of effort. Congratulations to Primitive 5221. You are better than all of the other 5,220 other primitives. And for that reason, you have won tonight's Land Speculation live stream chat. Very nice job. And nice work, Quiet and Jeanette, wrestling with Nightbot's being silly and difficult. So there is where the fire was. The sunset has evolved since we've been watching it here. The Washington Monument seems to have gotten yellower. The giant plume of smoke overhead has gotten more intense. George, thanks for stopping by here on Land Speculation on YouTube. Gold, not yellow? Okay. Trump wants to turn the reflecting green into a par 3 mini golf green. Sounds like that would be very dangerous. A putting green would be better. Turning the grass around the Washington Monument into a par 3 course seems like you would have a lot of flying golf balls that would be perilous for people. The Trump Arch would be to commemorate the 250th anniversary of America being a country. Of course, it probably wouldn't open for another couple of years. Poliginac wants to live at the Smithsonian Castle over here. Okay. Okay, and there's the Capitol building. Running away from the sun. Let's see if we... I don't know, they said media staging. Is it 9th and Constitution? Let's see if we can find that. Because that seems like a weird spot for that to be happening. More pineapples on more pizzas. It's fine. Like, if you want pineapple on your pizza, order pineapple on your pizza. If you don't like pineapple on your pizza, then don't get pineapple on your pizza. People get into principled battles over things that are merely about personal preference. Some people's opinions are wrong when they contradict with my opinion. But what you like on your pizza is what you like on your pizza. And if you want to like plop an entire pineapple on your pizza, like you want to just like smear a giant pineapple in pizza, and you want to like eat the spikes and everything like whole. I don't know if it's poisonous, but
yeah, this is it.
okay, let's go see. There's a lot of flashing lights up ahead of us. Okay, so this is like the backside of all this. Goodness, I did not realize this would stretch all the way up here. That's a hell of an operation going on underneath the roadway. Please drive with care is a nice touch there. Boy, I had no idea this was going to stretch this far north of the National Mall. This was constrained pretty much entirely south. So that suggests maybe the bus was actually much deeper in the tunnel than we thought. Wow. There are so many firefighters and other people gathered up here. The number of fire trucks is insane. Oh my goodness. It's like stretching around the block. Clearly not a typical vehicle fire. Oh my goodness. Now, question is, how are we going to get home? We are many blocks from where we were before now. And we're being blocked off by police tape here. Hazmat support unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I mean, there've got to be at least 25 fire trucks, ambulances, and police vehicles, like just right here, north of the National Mall, which is like, this thing happened a long way from here. So what on earth? Okay, it smells like they're doing like fumigation. Like it smells like bug spray. goodness. Okay, security operations. Oh my goodness. I mean, there must have been some hella, like, chemicals and who knows what going on down there. Goodness gracious. So earlier, I guess we were like, you can see where we were earlier was way down there. Like we were on the other side of that white squarish building way off in the distance. So we were on the other side of the whole National Mall. We were on the other side of the Smithsonian Castle. We were on the other side of Independence Avenue. We were on the other side of the Department of Transportation building there. And like that's where this was all going down. The plume of smoke was billowing out, and there are police, fire, and emergency vehicles in this 9th Street, on this 9th Street tunnel, as far as like it goes. I mean, literally as far as the tunnel goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I mean, yeah, there could be 30 police and fire vehicles just here. You can see some of the water. I mean, and there's a lot of people standing around there, like the firefighters and police officers. A lot of them standing around down there. There's stretchers out. It's like vehicles of every conceivable kind. This is like a lighting vehicle. Again, like I don't know what's going on down here. How deep into the tunnel this goes. Looks like there's a lot of water in that tunnel now. You see that SUV down there. Like you can see the reflection of the car in the water. There's so much water. Water sprinkling off the back of this fire truck too. I have no idea why this has attracted this much attention, unless like there's a lot more to this than we understand. I mean, this is crazy. I've been around stuff in DC for years. I've been around bomb scares, active shooter kinds of things. I don't know what the hell this is. Yes, to put it mildly, something is going on. Wow. It's a lithium fire. We need about 50,000 gallons of water to put out. Well, like a standard driveway trash can is about 32 gallons. So 50,000 gallons does sound like a lot. Man, I feel like there are more vehicles here now than there were like 3 minutes ago. Crime scene. Operations crime scene. Crime scene vehicles. What does that mean? Yes, go this way. Eris, let's go this way. It's all over X. It says, love Chaplin. What are people saying about it? Wow. So this is where they said there was going to be media staging. I see a lot of media here. But this does look like where they have drawn a bit of a perimeter. That guy's gonna run into a bit of an issue here. Asking about, I guess, can he get through? So they're going to tell him he's got to go around. I suppose I am media. Yes, well, we are media. You know, we're not the biggest channel in the world, but sometimes when we report news, we probably get better viewership than a lot of like actual media outlets. And I know that because I know how much readership actual media gets anymore, and it's not much. Okay, Love Chaplin, Expressway. Okay, goodness, update here. All lanes remain blocked. Constitution Avenue is now blocked between 7th and 10th Streets. See, that's what I don't understand. Is why Constitution is being blocked because like where all these lights are right now is a long way away from where, at least we believe, the bus actually was. And it feels like they just keep bringing more vehicles into the fold here, more police, fire, and whatnot vehicles. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. Why do we have crime scene vehicles in the fold here? Why are there so many fire people just standing around out here? Was it a deliberate? I mean, Jack, obviously, I have no idea. No idea, guys. Perplexing. I hope somehow we'll be able to get some answers at some point. So the sun has now gone down officially. I'd say either I've gotten used to it or I think the smell is mostly dissipated. And obviously the plume of smoke, obviously of course it's dark now so you wouldn't be able to tell. but the smoke seems to have gone away. And, you know, when you get away from it, it feels pretty normal here in central DC. If you missed the beginnings of this when the fire was really raging, go back and watch early in our video, probably starting out, I don't know, about 10 minutes in, the fire starts really going crazy, and we were pretty up close to where the big plumes of black smoke were coming out of the 9th Street Tunnel here in Washington, D.C., where obviously there was a bus fire, or so we were led to believe. I mean, that's what the reporting is here, but there are so many emergency vehicles gathered there, you know, and we're, I don't know, 6 or 7 blocks away from where this all happened, where all these vehicles are now gathered there at the entrance to the 9th Street Tunnel with stretchers and lights and all kinds of stuff. And that's, I don't know, like that's crazy to me at this point, this long after this fire, that they're all still gathered in that way, that there's still clearly water. You know, I guess if it was a battery fire or something, you know, those are pretty intense and they take a lot of water or foam or something. But that is a lot of emergency vehicles and a lot of firefighters, a lot of police officers, a lot of crime units. I mean, it's a huge swath of the city that's blocked off for this thing still here. So, you know, is there more to this than the initial story that was coming out? I don't know. You guys are watching Land Speculation here on YouTube as we report this live, trying to find angles and whatnot. And I appreciate that you're here. Thanks for finding us if you're not a regular. Thanks for joining us if you are a regular. Dropping a like on the video, subscribe on the channel, check our description that has the links to our Discord and our Duck Fund, as well as our links to our sister channel, Land Ducks International. We try to bring you live things in DC. Sometimes they pop up on us and are strange, and we're trying to figure them out here in real time. We certainly breathed a whole lot of noxious air today. So even at this point, Constitution is still blocked off. So the bus was on fire in the tunnel. Then there was an explosion. I've not seen any ambulances drive off with any people on them. Right? In fact, none of the vehicles seem to be moving at all, you know, as we were out there. It's, you know, it's hard to tell what's going on. Or, you know, why there's so many people gathered around. This truck's just moving. He's like setting up a sign, I guess, what the sign's gonna say. You can see some of the lights in the distance. Local ABC News says no passengers on the bus. Thanks, Jack. I mean, that's what we've been hearing. I just don't understand why. You know, if you listen to the media reports, it sounds like it's all neat and tidy and resolved and no harm, no foul. And like, then all of a sudden we have like, I don't know, 30 to 40 fire trucks and police vehicles all gathered here at the entrance to the 9th Street Tunnel still. And it seems like the radius just keeps expanding and expanding. So why? Why is that happening? You know, other than it's a hot fire and they got to put it out. Like, it's a hell of a scene. Wow, are they expanding the radius here? What's going on? This guy is blowing his whistle at these cars. They're trying to cross the intersection here at 7th Street. He's basically telling people to stop. So that what can happen? Okay, he told them to stop just so we could then tell them to go. Putting out more cones now. More random flashing lights. Ambulance backing away, maybe?
That's the only time you tell you don't really want to come.
Is the tunnel compromised? That's an interesting question. I can't imagine that they would have vehicles down there in the way that they do if that was the case. Yeah, there's a bad place for the bus to explode. I mean, I don't know if it exploded, but clearly something happened that sounded bad. Hearing the, rumors of an explosion. I don't know how true any of that is. Jim Rock, thanks for hanging out with us. I hope you sleep well and free from noxious chemicals. Are they looking for someone? That's an interesting thought. I don't think so. This does not feel like a manhunt kind of thing. But who knows? Like, We're all just guessing here.
I mean, maybe you're a little bleary-eyed.
Tunnel has been used since 1973. That would make sense. That's when they built a lot of the underground highway infrastructure underneath the National Mall. So the tunnel basically is a tunnel that connects you from downtown DC here at Constitution Avenue underneath the National Mall over to all the way to I-395. So again, I don't know if you guys remember years ago when we streamed, and there were protesters that were in the wake of George Floyd marching with drums and stuff down the highway to I-395. That's the same tunnel that they were marching on, or under, or in. So it's a long tunnel. It has some like openings that open south of the National Mall, and that's kind of where we were looking back at the beginning of this stream, was down over some of those overlooks down at the underpass underneath. It's a pretty long tunnel actually, if it weren't for those openings. So, you know, I guess I'm sort of wondering where in that tunnel the bus was when this happened, because the plumes of smoke we saw rising up were coming from a particular spot that was south of the National Mall, but I suppose it's possible that that smoke was billowing pretty far along in that tunnel before it was able to see the light of day. It certainly seemed like, you know, a lot of dark plumes of smoke, and, you know, it seemed like it was hard for the firefighters to get into the tunnel when we were streaming earlier. So I don't actually know where between here and there the bus was or is at this point. The rumors of the explosion, I have no idea whether anything exploded, or, you know, I think a bus fire would be bad enough as it is, but I don't know, bad enough to merit this level of police and fire presence, I don't know. Have I ever used a scooter around DC? I tried it, and they're not as bad as I thought they would be. Other reporters, not really that I've seen. What's interesting is like these random people that are just kind of walking in the roadway. That I don't really understand, because it seems like they would yell at me if I did it. I mean, I wouldn't want to have to be breathing any more of these noxious fumes than we probably did today. So, I mean, I'm not envious of the firefighters who had to do that. I bet DC hasn't had this many EMS vehicles out at one time since 9/11. I mean, there's stuff that happens in DC. I mean, stuff goes down here. But this is certainly an unusual clustering of emergency vehicles. Yeah, we haven't thrown around the carrots in a while, have we? A little bit of carroting. Yeah, it looks like a big operation. We were looking over the overpass block away at this clustering of vehicles, and it was a pretty extensive array of emergency vehicles. I'm not sure what this vehicle is that's making its way down the street here. Fire took over, so Love Chaplain, with another update here, appreciate that. Took over 40 minutes to knock it down in the 9th Street Tunnel. Even called in Marine One foam trucks. That stuff handles jet fuel. It smells like domestic terrorism. I mean, if it's like, I guess you know, you have like there've been like bus. I mean, you know, used to hear about like the bus bombings in the West Bank. Man, if we started having bus bombings in the U.S., that would be a hell of a thing. People on the bus are in the tunnel. I don't believe so. I mean, the reports anyway are so far that there are no injuries. Now there were a lot of emergency vehicles that had stretchers out and things like that in the tunnel. So, you know, I don't know. We're just, you know, we're hearing the preliminary reports that the bus driver was able to get out okay, and there was no one else on the bus at the time that it happened. Other vehicles, I don't know. I mean, obviously, that tunnel is very heavily used, and this happened at rush hour today. So, presumably, a lot of cars trying to get out to the highway at that time. So, yeah, other vehicles, we don't know. We don't know what the deal is with the other vehicles. One of the things that it looked like as we were peering down the tunnel was that there may have been other vehicles that were still in those tunnels. And so, yeah, we don't know if there were other people that maybe were caught in the crosshairs here. You know, I assume you get caught in a tunnel amid that level of smoke and stuff. It's a pretty big, horrifying situation. You know, are the people like abandon their vehicles? Are the people that succumb to smoke inhalation? I don't know. Love Chaplains from X. Someone shared your stream. Well, I appreciate people sharing our stream as long as they give us credit. I'd appreciate anybody who's new to the channel being here on Land Speculation on YouTube. You know, of course, it's good to have people here with us as we try to follow things as they happen live in Washington, D.C. And clearly, there's a lot that's been happening here tonight. It's not what we intended to stream tonight, but you know, when news breaks, we try to pound the pavement and do, you know, on-the-ground reporting here in the nation's capital. As we have in the past, we've broken some stories here in D.C., you know, in our years of doing these streams. And when we're not breaking stories, we provide commentary and all kinds of stuff. So, you know, get subscribed to our channel if you're not already. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the likes on the video. If you have not dropped a like on this video as well, those are much appreciated. And if you check the description, there are links to some other things you can do to get involved with our channel. We have a Discord. Anybody's free to join that. We have a duck fund if you want to help send us your money. We like money. Unusual human trait. And then we have a sister channel, Landux International, that we are just getting started to share live footage, not live footage, but raw footage from all over the world. And then maybe some other things too. So again, this is up ahead of us is the National Mall. Like, we're really right in the heart of things in DC here. National Mall, and behind that is the Hirshhorn Museum, which is a modern art museum. And it is behind that is, I believe, a Department of Transportation building. And it is right around there that we were earlier when we were watching the plumes of smoke billow out into the DC sky amid just absolutely noxious smells. And so, you know, when we're looking at all these emergency vehicles over here, we're a long way from where it is that I believe this bus was located, unless the bus was actually in some other location as it was exploding or catching fire or whatever the hell happened to it. You know, the media reports have been pretty tame on this, so it seems, relative to the appearance of what has actually been happening here. The moon is still up there in the sky. The Washington Monument is over here. And then let's see. See what's going on in the tunnel as best we can. How much has changed? Oh wow, okay, it's a little different now than it was. A lot more. The vehicles seem to have kind of lined up on the side. This fire truck seems very much still active. Still large gaggles of firefighters gathered up the way here. Sorry guys, we're showing you this footage through a fence, so I'm trying to keep the camera steady and focused. Not always the easiest. I think what may be going on here is that they have, it's hard to get water into this tunnel, and so some of the hoses may not be long enough, and so I think what they've had to do is connect hoses from the fire hydrants up along Constitution Avenue down to fire trucks like this one, and then have basically circulating water in the fire trucks, and then hoses coming out of the fire trucks deep into the tunnel. So it's like a bit of a chain. I don't know if there are potentially more fire trucks deeper in the tunnel. You can see how, active the water situation is here. And the U.S. Capitol is right over there. Amid all of this happening in the core of Washington, D.C. Geronimo, appreciate you being here. And again, if for folks that showed up late and who are just catching us live now, you go back and watch the full sequence of things breaking down over the last couple of hours on our stream. Kind of fill in some of the missing pieces here. you can still smell it faintly. It's pretty crazy, like the noxious fumes from before. So like there are these sort of random vehicles that are deep within this tunnel as it dips underneath the National Mall. And you wonder what's the deal with some of these vehicles. Like, why are they just sitting there? Oh, like not police vehicles, just regular vehicles. And it does make you wonder, like, okay, maybe the bus driver got out okay, but are there other people who were affected by this in some adverse way? And if so, you know, what was the adverse way? Yeah, evacuated vehicles, very possibly. It definitely looks like some of the fire trucks have backed their way out of the tunnel. I'm not sure if they're just not needed anymore, if this is starting to disperse, or are they just creating space to get other folks out of the tunnel. Continue to be an astronomical number of fire and police vehicles here. And the crime scene units are still here, which definitely raises some eyebrows. So it looks like this guy's rolling up a hose. Fire truck that looks like it's backing out. That looks like basically just a water truck. Yeah, I mean, dozens is an understatement. It was the middle of rush hour when this happened, and it's a long tunnel, and it's a major arterial to get people out of the city. That 9th Street tunnel. So, you know, if a bus like spontaneously caught on fire, that would be shocking and miraculous if other people were not caught in the crosshairs of it. And who are these random people that are just like walking across the middle of the scene? See those like random people in shorts and stuff just walking in the middle of the road? I guess like photographers or something? Yeah, just more firefighters walking back and forth. Don't know what these. It looks like they're mostly rolling up hoses at this point. I don't believe that there was still smoke at the other end. When I look down into the tunnel, it looks dark because it's night. It is interesting. It doesn't look like the lights that would normally illuminate the tunnel when you drive through it are on. It looks like the tunnel is pretty dark. I don't know if that was done intentionally to turn the lights of the tunnel off. You know, I guess like you didn't want active electricity in the tunnel. But I imagine the tunnel is pretty darn dark. Just more firefighters just walking back and forth here. Okay, the safety battalion truck is going into the tunnel. Nope, backing back out now. Newton Kane, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by here on Land Speculation on YouTube. Of firefighters going into the tunnel now. And you can see the water is still flowing. Let's just see the water just. Get the safety battalion now. Brightly lit up. More guys walking into the tunnel. Walking into the tunnel for another one. Four huddled up in the street. These are mostly firefighters. It looks like the back of their shirts say DCFD for the most part, but it looks like there's police there too. There's some unmarked vehicles. I don't know what these unmarked vehicles are over here. Not sure I understand your comment, Love Chaplain. Ah, okay. I get it. Okay, here comes... Okay, this is the vehicle that looks like it was parked in the tunnel before. Is that a police vehicle or is that somebody's private vehicle? If so, what is it doing? Like, are these just vehicles that were in the tunnel when this happened, and now they have the keys and they're taking them out? Well, as those people so eloquently described it, it would be annoying. You're walking home and your bus catches fire. So again, we're here in the core of Washington, D.C. That's the Capitol Dome. The Washington Monument is behind us. The National Archives are over here. The Hirshhorn Museum is over here. And we have been tracking now for about 2.5 hours. A pretty crazy afternoon and evening here in Washington. Supposedly, a bus caught fire, maybe exploded inside of the 9th Street Tunnel, which is an I-95 access tunnel that runs underneath the National Mall and then pops out south of the National Mall. Created an absolutely horrific giant set of smoke plumes that billowed over the skyline of Washington, D.C. for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Earlier this evening, really horrific looking stuff. I mean, it was like thick, dark, noxious smoke. Tons of fire attention, police attention, and we were watching the immediate, activity that was happening around this amid the smoke. On the south side of the National Mall a little bit earlier, and now have been making our way here to the north side of the National Mall, where there were some 30 or 40 police and fire vehicles gathered Still here yet, multiple hours after this happened, with water flowing down the street, hoses, stretchers out, other things. Just a really big scene here. That kind of surprised me, was that it had made this far north. We're several blocks north of where we think the bus was when it caught fire, and it's now several hours later. We are told, I guess, by way of these media reports, or supposedly according to these media reports, that the bus driver got out okay and that nobody is injured, but we also don't really know because there were a lot of other cars in that tunnel. And so it's hard to exactly know what all went down. And I hope everyone's okay, but it's a lot of police and fire vehicles and crime scene vehicles, if not. Also, the absolutely noxious smells from what was presumably an electric bus or a hybrid bus. The things that were burning there and the chemicals they were outputting, really quite horrifying. So, I don't know how much more we're going to be able to add to this scene here, but the lights continue to flicker on here.
I don't.
And numerous city streets are blocked off, still on Constitution Avenue, as a giant cluster of police and fire vehicles continue to attend to the scene. And other than the media reports, which seem to be kind of downplaying the whole thing, there's a whole lot of other reporting going on about this. So, yeah, Lurky, thanks for hanging out with us. I will let you guys know if we have other ill effects from all that crap we breathed in tonight. Can't have been good for anybody. If I'm dead in the morning, I will post it on YouTube and X, Blue Sky. Crazy scenes. Dry clean my clothes. Yeah, we'll see. I am curious when I get inside, presumably amidst air that is at least filtered, what my clothes may smell like. So we'll see. I will need to shampoo 3 times my hair. Soap is soap. You can, honestly, the soaps you should be using for everything are laundry detergent and dishwashing fluid, because those are the soaps that seem to, be by far the greatest concentration.
It's like in people's houses. Yeah.
And soap is soap. Just wash your hair with laundry detergent. It'll be much more efficient. All right. Well, that was more interesting than I thought it was going to be. When we started out tonight, I thought like this was going to be a nothing burger of a stream. I literally had 2 backup topics, which I guess we'll push to future days. Well, that's interesting.
This is time.
It sounds like making furniture in the middle of the street. I'll take the woodworking fumes over the noxious burning bus fumes any day, though. So we're back at downtown DC. So I very much appreciate you guys hanging out with us here tonight. And again, if you haven't been with us before, greetings from Land Speculation here on YouTube. And please do drop a like on the video and a subscribe on the channel if you haven't. The likes help us out. The subscribes will help you guys out because then you get to like watch our stuff. And then check our description for links to our Discord, our Duck Fund, and our sister channel Land Ducks International. I do appreciate the work of our mods here tonight. Jeanette and Quiet doing a lot of the lifting here. Was Monica on here earlier? I'm trying to remember. Maybe the fumes have been interfering with my cognitive abilities, which if that's the case, that would be terrifying. But I don't know. Maybe the whole thing was a giant, like, well, we'll speculate on a future stream about what this all might have been. And I guess Primitive, I believe, was our winner after multiple attempts. Primitive, I think, was the victorious party here tonight. It's always a gauntlet where I have to keep talking to avoid getting copyrighted because there's music playing ambiently around us. So Monica was here, so congratulations to Monica for also being an awesome mod here on Land Speculation on YouTube. And this reminds Geronimo of the FBI explosions. Well, we'll keep our ears peeled and our eyes graded in case anything else comes of this. We'll see. We'll see what the, I don't know, what the real story is. That we aren't finding out about from official sources. Okay. Well, we're running out of juice here, so I'm gonna end this here for now. And I don't know, if other stuff pops up, we'll pop back on. And appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Exciting times. DC is weird. All right. Well, for now, I think we'll say adieu. We'll be back. Don't be strangers. We'll be back. This is Land. That ain't just speculation. For now, I hope you all have a good night.